Hello everyone, this is Jeff, your PSNFFL Commissioner, welcoming you back to the PlayStation Network Fantasy Football League for the 2020 season. I bring you this video with some critical and important information which we will get to later. First off, as is customary, we congratulate the previous year's champion, LA Thunder Buddies. Yes, that's me. On their second Fantasy Football Championship. Of course, now that means there are 3 teams in the PSNFFL with 2 Fantasy Football Championships. So the real question now becomes, who gets number 3 first? We'll have to wait and see, and I'm sure the rest of the league will have something to say about that. Alright, now let's get to the important stuff. I'm officially calling this year the season of COVID. If you haven't heard or you've been living under a rock, COVID-19 or the coronavirus is the spread of this terrible disease which has massively affected the sports world and the real world. It has caused leagues such as the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, as well as leagues around the world to either cancel or postpone their respective seasons. Thankfully, it hasn't impacted the NFL just yet, but that's of course because the season hasn't even started yet. That doesn't mean it won't impact it once they begin to play football. So with that in mind, it's a fair question to ask, what happens if a problem arises? What if players start getting infected? What if teams start getting infected? We're seeing in baseball where they have to postpone games and postpone matchups. That, of course, has an impact on fantasy. Now, I know fantasy probably pales in comparison to what happens in real life, which is true. And thankfully, we're a league that doesn't have any money on the line, so that's one less thing to worry about. But I know we all want to compete and we all want to try to win, and it's frustrating to have something else in addition to injuries and suspensions that causes so much uncertainty and unpredictability that now we have to worry about. So I'm going to get into some of the changes and some of the adjustments we're going to try to prepare for this upcoming season, and we're going to try to make the best of it out of the situation that we possibly can. Alright, so here are some of the changes for the upcoming season. As you notice, I haven't made a lot of videos. This will probably be the only one I make for this season. I've also cut out the activities. Not sure if anyone misses those anyway, but these would be the activities that would earn you extra lottery balls for the draft lottery. And of course the reason for that is because there is no draft lottery this year. Sorry about that. The draft order has already been determined by reverse order of finish from last season. So if you want to see where you are picking, just go to the league page and you will see what spot you are picking from. In addition to that, each team will have 3 reserve spots in addition to your bench. So these 3 reserve spots will be for players that come down with COVID. Hopefully you don't get any more than 3 players that come down with it. If you do get more than 3 players that come down with COVID, we should really be asking ourselves, should they be playing football? But of course, that's not for us to decide, that's for the league to decide. Alright, so now let's get to the rules. As you know, rules are the foundation for fair play, competition, and integrity. I would like to thank everyone in this league who has played by the rules for all these years. Thank you so much. However, I do understand and realize that this year's probably going to be tough with all the unpredictability and uncertainty going around. So I feel that it is best to relax the enforcement of the rules of filtering and bench stretching. I don't want people to feel like they're afraid of making moves because they think they're going to get busted or in trouble. Listen, if your players on your team come down with COVID or your team is in distress and you have to make moves, you got to do what you got to do. Go for it. We're not going to hold that against you. I will say, don't do anything egregious. Okay, don't go picking up all the defenses or picking up all the tight ends. If it becomes obvious that you're doing something to try to screw people, then we're going to have a problem. But if you're doing something just out of necessity, because obviously, you have guys coming down with COVID, that's completely different. So we don't want to make you feel uncomfortable about that. I do encourage you guys to try to play by the rules. I'm going to try to play by the rules. And hopefully this will only last for a season. Once the season of COVID ends, we will try to get back to normal next year, but we'll see when that time comes. So here's the scheduled draft time. It is set for Sunday, September 6, 2020. Of course, it's the Sunday before the Thursday of the season opener, which we've been doing pretty much every single year. So we'll try to keep that going. It is subject to change, so we'll keep you posted if anything changes, but that's what it's looking like right now. Of course, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and I'll do my best to answer your questions and get back to you and help you with whatever you need. Thank you once again for being a part of the PlayStation Network Fantasy Football League for the 2020 season. Have fun, be safe, stay healthy, and best of luck to everyone this upcoming season. We'll see you at the draft.